Good. Let's talk Kono.
Do you want to get into the Kono debate?
I think we should. I don't even know if I'd call it
not a debate. I
want to hear you flesh out your whole opinion on it.
Okay,
that's what I want.
So again, somebody pointed out, I truly don't care about the historical ramifications of a combined no-hitter. I think it's a lot less of an achievement than a regular no-hitter, because this is a starting pitcher who faces this lineup 3 times through, gets up and down. He knows about the 6th inning, 5th inning that he's got a no-hitter going. The stress gets built. Everybody starts tuning in from around the country, around the world into this thing, and it's like, oh, will he do it? So there wasn't that buildup for me of a pitcher doing it, because even the Mets pitchers didn't know that they were throwing a no-hitter, and it was just like, oh. And so there wasn't that buildup for me. That being said, I really don't care, but a lot of Mets fans did, and they voiced their opinions to me, which I love. I'm glad that they feel that interaction necessary, and they feel like we can go back and forth. I love it. They said that it was a big moment for them. It is a moment for the franchise of the New York Mets. It's their second no-hitter. So I will give them that. It's a no-hitter for the franchise. It's a huge no-hitter for James McCann. It's his second one. That's a big deal as a catcher, because he's doing it all, and he knows that all of this is happening. Mm-hmm. So he's feeling that. You saw the one he threw with Giolito. Did you see the wall? I think on the broadcast last night they showed what he has. He's going to get the home plate after this homestand. They're going to dig it up because of what he did with Giolito, and so he's going to get that. But for me, what I think of when I think of no-hitters, I think of Nolan Ryan's 7 no-hitters. I think of him holding up those baseballs with zeros on them. Yeah. And if you ask Tyler McGill, hey, have you ever thrown a no-hitter? What is he gonna say? I threw 5/9 of one.
I was part of one.
I was part of one. And people were like, well, if you were pitching in that situation.
I saw that reply.
And here's the thing. I remember in 2005, I played in Peoria, Illinois, Peoria Chiefs, when I was with the Cubs. I don't know who they are now, but the Peoria Chiefs were the Cubs. There was a combined no-hitter. My friend Sean Gallagher, who played in the big leagues for a little bit, had an unbelievable start to the season. I think he threw like 45 innings straight to start the season as a 19-year-old kid. Scoreless, 45 innings, unbelievable. Crazy. Anyway, so he threw a combined no-hitter, and I lived with him and another guy named Walt Nolan, good friend of mine. They had like champagne. They both had the same agent, the agent since Champagne. I think he was 19 or 20, Gallagher at the time. Okay. And he was like drinking it while playing video games. I was like, what are you drinking champagne for? And he's like, we threw a no-hitter. I go, what do you mean we? You threw 5 innings or something. And then his next start, it went the same thing. And I blew it in the 9th. I don't remember. So I really don't care. It wasn't a thing that was like, I blew his second no-hitter. Would have been cool, I guess, but it wasn't a thing to me. So I didn't care in that aspect. I care that the fans cared. Clearly, the players, they charged. They rushed the field a little bit. There was some like weird jumping around.
It was lukewarm. It wasn't crazy, yeah.
But in the post game, all the pitchers lined up and answering questions was really cool.
Yep.
It meant a lot to those guys to be a part of history. So I will not take away from that. I will not take away the moment from the fans in the stadium, because you can feel the emotion. I watched some videotape. So just because I don't really feel
right.
I don't let me rain on your parade. I'm not normally the type. I just don't find the significance. But somebody pointed out that it was like you didn't take the account of the fan. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, I did. I'm a fan too. I'm a fan of the game. And then I was like, wait a minute. Maybe I'm not, because this team, I'm a fan of baseball, and I love the Mets.
Of course.
I do, because I have history with them as a player. And so I don't think of the entire history of the Mets, and these fans do, because they're like, this is only our second no-hitter.
Right.
And so they do see it in a bigger light. It is a bigger thing to them. And so enjoy it. Because I don't care about it as much as you do, don't let me poo-poo your situation. I'll be the wet blanket. I'm not gonna If we were together at the stadium, just because I don't feel the same thing, I'm not going to sit there and humbug it. I'm going to jump around with you, and I'm going to do the lukewarm celebration on the field with everybody. I just truly don't think of it as a big enough achievement for a player. And again, this is I see it now, as the fans so rightfully pointed out. This is a tough thing for me as a former player because I don't see it the way a diehard Mets fan would, and I'm willing to accept that.
Yeah.
Just because I view it differently than you do, don't let me, ruin your fun time. Have a fun time.
And I think that's a good perspective. I think both perspectives are fine. I think it's important for a player to have that perspective because there is like the art of the game that needs to be protected there. There's only one complete game this year so far. Walker Buehler. There's only been one across the entirety of baseball. I think the one pitcher no-hitter is going to become rarer and rarer to the point where maybe it doesn't even happen anymore. At the same time, Mets fans are used to being defensive just in general because we're constantly looked at as like a laughingstock team, and like a lot of people like to discredit us, and a lot of people don't believe in this hot start. Those are all fine. Those are all other opinions. At the same time, me being a Mets fan, I know that I love Johan's no-hitter. At the same time, if the replay system is installed in 2012, that no-hitter doesn't happen. Because that Beltran line drive down the left field line that hits the chalk, that's a double. That's not a foul ball.
Did he even hit the chalk? I felt like it was like a foot in.
There's a full mark.
Yeah.
On the chalk. Yeah, it was a bad call. But
it was a bad call.
We'll take it.
But there's a bunch of those. Armando Galarraga would have a perfect game.
Exactly.
There's all throughout history you could say, how many of Roger Clemens' 20 or Kerry Wood's 20 strikeouts were actually balls. Eventually there's going to be robo-umps, so you're not going to retroactively change things.
Exactly.
And so that's fair. I see you. Continue. Sorry.
And no, it's okay. It's just I think I think a lot of Mets fans will agree that like in terms of baseball history significance, this no-hitter isn't any different from any other combined no-hitter. And like when I think I can't tell you who threw the Seattle Mariners combined no-hitter from a couple years ago. The Phillies had one. I have no idea who pitched in that game, but I'll always remember who pitched in this game because I'm a Mets fan.
That's good, and it means something to you as a Mets fan. I fully accept that I don't see the significance of it, but I do see that it's significant to Mets fans. So I won't ever. I didn't want to be the wet blanket in that scenario, and I won't.
I don't think you told, and I don't think you told Mets fans to
and
not
I
be
wasn't.
happy.
And again, in text form, when you're on Twitter, things come out different, however you want to read them. So I wasn't ever raining on anybody else's parade. Mm-hmm. I was just saying, like, I truly don't care.
Yeah.
But I do care that Mets fans have a thing that they can be proud of, and all the fans that were at that game are going to have that ticket stub, and it's going to mean something to them.
Exactly.
I don't think it's as big as an accomplishment, and I don't think they do either, that you get to see a Jacob deGrom complete game no-hitter.
Yeah.
It would be a bigger thing because you can also attribute it to a single person. There is one. So first of all, Rob Friedman, Pitching Ninja, I think he coined Kono.
I like it a lot.
I do too. It's a thing that we could use because
Yeah.
it's not the same thing. It also signifies
Because they should be different.
They
You know what I mean?
should be different.
Like-
So shout out to the Pitching Ninja on Twitter. Amazing follow.
Yeah, great
But Kono. There is one that a fan from the West Coast on my A's days hit me up of a combined no-hitter of a Kono that is significant, and it was the post Tyler Skaggs
Yes.
no-hitter that the whole team threw, and then they put the jerseys on the mound.
Yeah.
Got me emotional. I just got chills thinking about it. So those are moments in a franchise that I can get behind.
Yes.
But as a former player, it's hard for me to fully envelop into the fandom of a franchise. I respect it. I admire it. Do your thing. Don't take offense to me not enjoying it as much as you do, because I don't take offense, and I don't think that you're wrong as a fan to feel. Feel however you feel, man. This is America. It's a beautiful thing. You're allowed to have your own opinions, and don't let my opinion reign on your opinion.
I love that. I have a fun game for you here.
Deal.
2 combined no-hitters last year. Can you tell me either of the teams that threw them?
I don't know. I don't know, nor do I care.
I didn't know until I just looked now.
By the way, Jimmy O'Brien, our fearless leader here at John Boy, John Boy himself, feels the same way I do.
Of course.
And there's going to be a bunch more of these combined no-hitters. Konos are going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Because it's
And I feel
easier.
like they should have their own genre.
I think they will.
Yeah.
It's easier. There was a lot of argument. There's only been 17 in history. There's only been 17 because a starting pitcher never got pulled when they had one before. And it's going to be a health issue now because they understand player safety and the value moving forward. if Johan Santana were in the game today, he would not have thrown that no-hitter.
Yep.
Because it did derail his resurgence
That's
of
an
his
interesting
career.
discussion.
It
there.
did 100%. It
If
affected
the
him.
foul ball is ruled fair, he probably gets yanked in the 6th or 7th.
Even if
Maybe
it
he
doesn't,
pitches
even if
longer.
it
Yeah.
doesn't, even if his pitch count gets up there, you look at his career, what you need from the Mets as a whole, I think he gets pulled.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't feel that way because in his era, you're gonna have to fight him to get him off that field.
Yeah.
And I respect that. He might still be like, I'm not. You're gonna have 2 pitchers on this mound, and I'm gonna have to punch my friend because I'm not coming
'Cause this
out.
is my mound.
But
Yeah.
what's the right move in that sense? Because of the Mets weren't really in anything, if I
Right.
recall correctly. It made a moment for the Mets to rally behind,
It
which
had
is beautiful.
The Baxter catch, we had never had one before.
But if he doesn't 2 outs in the 9th and he gives up a hit, is it worth it for his career to kind of be over?
yeah,
Again, do what you got to do. Kono's a thing. It's much easier to do because the starting pitcher doesn't have to face the lineup another time. I threw a ton of 1 out or 1 inning without giving up a hit.
yeah,
I'm not that good. Like I had a solid career. That was my job. But it's so much easier to face 3, 4, 5 guys and not give up a hit
right.
than it is to do it for 3. Anyway,
It's valid.
enjoy it. It's a franchise cool mark, but to me, it's just different.
Yeah.
So
2
I can admit
Konos
it.
from last year. Corbin Burns went 8 innings. He got pulled after 115 pitches.
Yet another
Hated
why you
that.
don't you don't get the Cy Young for me.
Hater
Zach
finish it
Wheeler
up.
should have won the Cy Young last year
That's a take.
because
baby.
he's not coming out, man.
Yeah.
He's more important.
At the same time, do you remember that Wheeler game last year where he went the full 9, gave up like 5 runs in the last inning?
I sure do.
That's what happens, baby.
There's an argument to be made.
It's fun to argue.